Hello. Um, this topic I think is actually fairly important, and I also don't think that I really have the authority to talk about it, but then I don't really have the authority to talk about anything. So I'm just gonna, yeah. Um, Lots of disclaimers. Um, you know, uh, I'm not like a doctor or professional trainer, um, nothing like that. Um, I'm intrigued by this idea, and I think that if anything, this would be an introduction. And if you are also intrigued by it, I highly suggest you research it or talk to somebody who um, is more knowledgeable than me about it and how it might impact your life. Um, what I want to talk about is something that's kind of like depression adjacent. Um, and I don't think there's like a term for it, but I can relate to it incredibly. The concept, and I think that a lot of people I know, especially those with avoidant personality disorder, but a lot of people I know um, can relate to it. So now here comes the problem. Like, I've got this amorphous idea, um, trying to describe what I'm talking about so that it's specific, but not so specific that people can't understand. Okay, yap, yap, yap. How about I get to the topic? What I want to talk about is basically a type of exhaustion that is affecting you to the point where you're just like tired of living. Um, this is not straight up depression, and it's not being suicidal. It's just, and it's not even like you're sick of it, because when you're sick of something, then you've got like this energy, this oomph, this power. It's more like you're just so tired of the repetition of everything. It's so tired of having to deal with everything that you have to deal with, and how much more exhausting it is when you have avoidant personality disorder, when you've got people who are judging you, when you've got to do everything by yourself, when you can't depend on anybody, when you can't trust anybody, and you've just got to keep going. Now, I think that the reason why this is so, um, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just like, it's like beyond familiar. It's like, yeah, um, absolutely resonates to me. Of course, with avoidant personality disorder, one of the very common traits is anhedonia, which is an inability to feel joy. Now, I'm saying this, but um, I kind of feel like a major mess right now, and part of that is because this is so silly and ridiculous. Silly and ridiculous. Yay. Silly and ridiculous. I just watched a live stream of the Paint the Night parade at Disneyland, which is gorgeous. I am the type of person, I really like um, art of any sort. I like, I like, I mean, if you saw my house, you'd be like, what are you talking about? Because I have a lot of like really boring lights. I've got a lot of filming lights. That sounds really pretentious, but I really do. I do lighting in my house. Practically, I don't do pretty lights, and I really like pretty lights. Well, I do at Christmas. I have my tree. Um, I actually have a reading nook that I string with a whole bunch of lights, and I never turn them on. But I really like them. And the thing is, when I see this, it is ridiculous. It is silly and is pretty. It's just pretty. You know, I've got plants. Actually, I keep annuals. I keep looking over there because that's where they are. They're in the other room. They're in the other filming room. But I have annuals that I've had for years. I had one annual that was alive for 5 years. Annuals are obviously supposed to die. They're plants. They're supposed to die after one season. My annuals from last year are starting to bloom again. It's spring. They're starting to bloom. It's kind of great. So I don't suffer from anhedonia because I can see these silly things, these pretty things, and be happy. I don't react well to them. I don't react well to being happy. I get way too emotional. So I sort of feel like I need to explain that in this video right now. If you're seeing me getting like, because, oh my God, I saw this thing. It was so pretty. It was so pretty. Like these people are experiencing it. It's so pretty. You would think that I would try, but then again, if I made my life that pretty, and this is how I react to it, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I can function in the world. But anyway, more disclaimers. How about I actually try to talk about what I'm trying to talk about here and try to describe it? It's really hard, so I'm trying to talk about anything else. But basically, it is people who are, you know, the grind is grinding you down. And you're so sick of every single day. You gotta wake up. And then you gotta do everything to get yourself together. And then you've got to psych yourself up to go to work or whatever you're going to do. Or like the other reason I'm still relating to this is I think I've just finished a 12-day stint at work. And I'm supposed to have 2 days off in a row, but I basically put myself on notice. I think definitely tomorrow I'm probably going to have to work again, but the next day I am taking off. Period, and I'm probably going to get called. Ridiculous, ridiculous. I got called today, an hour before I was supposed to start. That we need you to start early. Please start early. I'm like, the worst of it is that a lot of what I do for my job is like kind of being on call. So I'm like, this is wasting my time. This is wasting my time. This is wasting my time. And then knowing that I keep getting called in, and I'm wasting my time when I'm not working, wondering when am I going to get the call. Everything feels like a waste of time. It's that sort of thing, but not quite. What I'm talking about is when it takes so much energy to cope with anything. I had a job that I would literally have to get to work 10 minutes before I started. And I would sit in my car 10 minutes before I actually started work going, literally, it's almost over. It's almost over. It's almost over. And people were like, that's like, are you like being suicidal when you say that? And it's like, no, that wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to psych myself up that, yeah, I know my job. I could do my job. My job was relative. I mean, there really weren't that many surprises with my job. It was a lot of work, had to get done, very repetitive. Um, and yet still, even without any surprises coming, I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this day? How am I going to get through this day? Um, that was the job I was doing when I started making videos. Um, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where you're so tired of just dealing. It's like you're too, you get to the point where you're too tired to go to sleep. And I'm not saying you're like physically exhausted. It's like mentally, it's like, oh, here's the next thing I've got to do. I've got to go to sleep now. I can't make myself go to sleep. Can't do this anymore. That is what I'm talking about. And again, this is not straight up depression, because this is the problem with depression is, even if you have, like, I have treatment resistant depression, long term, ongoing depression that I have learned to cope with. And so it almost doesn't affect me most of the time. This is not depression. This is not the thing where you go to bed and you just can't get out of it. And it's like it hits you like you're under a massive rock and you just can't move. I'm talking about the type of thing where you have been ground down for days and years, and the idea of doing the same thing again. I was there. I was definitely there, and I get there often. And um, I really go out of my way to distract myself from it. I do a lot of travel, actually. Even though this is kind of the bad time of the year to be doing this, I am going on vacation, very short vacation, a couple days, in a couple weeks. It's sort of bad timing. Um, and like, as far as for the year, bad timing. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going on a little trip with my son. Um, I'm sure that they're going to, I mean, I know my son got a whole bunch of crap about taking time off from work. His manager went on vacation this month. How dare he also try to take 2 days off of work? Oh my God. Um, I don't get it. And I'm not the only one. It's not something that's specific to people with avoidant personality disorder. Um, it's rough. Okay, so I think I've maybe sort of backhanded, in a way, describe what I'm talking about. That it's not depression. It is that you just you got to do the next thing, and you got to do the next thing, and you got to do the next thing. All right, so here's the second half of my video, what I always try to do, which is, okay, now what I've described this thing, let's give you some advice. How do you cope? How do you deal with this? How you deal with it, in a nutshell, is to get some rest and allow yourself to rest. Now, that's like so simple. Um, here's the problem. Okay, when you have avoidant personality disorder specifically. Now, and the thing with other people when they have that sort of thing, it's not quite a breakdown. It's getting to the point where they maybe would have a breakdown. So what they do is they let other people do for them so that they can rest and get a break and have fewer responsibilities and blah, 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 blah. Isn't that wonderful? If you have avoidant personality disorder, who are the people in your life that you can allow to jump in and help? Who can allow to let you rest? In my case specifically, I think I feel like a broken record, because it goes back to how I got the avoidant personality disorder in the first place, right? Um, and I'm sorry if this, again, I know this annoys some people. They're like, haven't you grown up yet? Why are you still bringing this up? Which is that my mother, my mother, she point blank told people that she had a problem with people sleeping and resting. Ever. I was not allowed to be tired. I mean, how that translated to me was not, oh, you're going to be Superwoman that can do everything, which is, I don't know. I mean, my mother was not, maybe in her head, that's what she was trying to prepare me for the world, to understand that I was going to have to take care of everything because I am woman. I mean, that's how she saw herself, as the most important thing in the world. Anyway, how it came across to me was, you know, I wasn't eligible to be tired, therefore I wasn't eligible to be alive. I wasn't an alive object. I was an object is the problem. I was a thing. I wasn't human. I wasn't even an animal. I wasn't even a freaking virus. I was a machine. And I didn't have the right to have anything that humans, other humans, had. And I mean, that is, there it is. I mean, that seriously could be the core of everything, of why I say I have a black mark in my soul, and why I say that I'm not eligible, because that is the word that fits for me. I'm not eligible for all these other things that normal, average, everybody else in the world has access to. You know, if you're not allowed to be tired, you're not allowed to sleep, and you're not allowed to rest, you're not alive, right? So I can really relate to that. The idea that, well, just take a rest. Actually, especially with my job, there are people in my life, multiple people, including people I work with, that are pissed at me. They are straight up angry that I keep, basically, I'm too responsible. I'm too reliable. I need to say no. I need to say no. I need to not, um, I need not be the one that's like the security blanket or something. I don't understand it. I'm not that important. I'm not that big of a worker. I know this time of the year, there are certain times of the year, it happens about quarterly, that all hell breaks loose at my job. And it's a cycle, whatever. But I'm just like, why is it me? Oh, well, because I come when I'm called, basically. I've been trained to do what I've been asked to do, period. And I mean, unless I have a reason specifically not to. Like this week, I got the call, oh my God, you need to come into work. I'm like, excuse me, I'm already working for another department right now. Sorry. um, yeah, talk to them. They already got to me first. And if they release me, I can go work with you. But until they release me, I'm sorry, I'm already working. It's about the only acceptable thing that I can say as far as um, not working all the time. It won't last long. Like I said, I'm, but also with my job, it was kind of a joke that I had to leave the state to be assured to not be called to work. But not last week. Last week, I did leave the state, and I still was asked to work that night. I'm like, come on, people. Well, like maybe it's get on a plane. If it's get on a plane, then in a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it is, yeah, I'll get another break. Um, okay, all this rambling. Where's the help, right? Um, so yeah, the cure is to allow yourself to rest. And I mean, not just, oh, I'm going to take a nap, but to really rest. To not, I mean, rumination is the way of the world when it comes to somebody with avoidant personality disorder, but to not, um, when you're not doing whatever you're doing, dwell on what you need to be doing. Um, I think I had a video that I privated, which I have done, sorry, um, about doing a bullet journal. It worked great for me for a while. Bullet journal is basically, well, there's multiple ways to use it, but basically it's a little book that I have that's like an ongoing to-do list, and also is where I put all of my appointments and my schedule and everything else, because again, work is a daily thing lately. And my work, I don't have a 9 to 5 job. I have a job that is dynamic, so I usually know in advance, but it's different times every day. So I have to keep track of that. So I put that in there too, and like any other types of appointments, whatever, deadlines, you name it, I put it in there. So that's really very good way of sort of calming your brain in order to rest and relax. I do a lot of distraction. Like I said today, I was like, let me watch this stupid video. And I don't know how long it was, like 8 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. But it was, and and like I said, I felt it. I mean, another thing, I'm sure there's a video about it, the flow state, which is to do something where you're focusing so intently on whatever you're doing, that you lose track of time. That little dumb thing worked for me. I try to read a lot because it does that. I try to plan my trips because, um, it's not the ongoing slog of it. I'm sure I'm sure you've seen the shorts and you probably don't like them. I don't care. Let's put them up. Um, I do them. Well, I do them because if I get out of practice of making videos, I'll stop. This. I will stop for like a year or whatever. And it'll do everything. It'll be really difficult for me to start doing it again. So I do the shorts, plus also they are supposed to, these little hobby things that I'm doing, are supposed to help people, from getting Alzheimer's, which, considering how much of a family history I have of it, it's probably coming. I'd rather push that off as much as possible. That will be the next thing I have to deal with, and it will probably be within the next 10 years that it starts, if it's going to start. Lucky me. Yeah. So those are the things that I would suggest as a way of starting. Is if you're feeling this just dread of continuing, you're just tired of all of the parts of life that you have to do, the stuff you have to do. And it's not, it's so simple and glib to say, oh, just get a different job, or, oh, just, whatever. When you're that tired, guess what? Sometimes dragging yourself to the bathroom to use the toilet is like the the thing that you feel like is going to push you over the edge because, oh my God, I gotta do that too. I gotta do everything. I gotta do it all. I'm so tired, sick of doing it all. That is what I'm talking about. Again, it's not depression. It's exhaustion. Um, One, acknowledge it. This is what it is. Label it, give it a name. Say, this is what it is. It's not you being broken, it's you being tired. And that means that you're human, okay? It's not you being faulty, it's you being tired. That's what it is. You're exhausted. Having to have every single plate in the world going at once because you have avoidant personality disorder and you don't have people in your life. And if you do have people in your life, you can't really depend on them at all, including yourself, because you'll do something like, you'll do something to alienate people at some point. It's a matter of coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. I know how that feels. I know how that feels, whether that's true or not. I have a friend sent me a text this morning. There's no other word for describing it. This is my friend. I have known him literally over 40 years. 40 years, and he hasn't given up on me. So why I assume I'm going to do something that he's suddenly going to go, oh yeah, oh God, no. Somebody else, almost 20 years. I mean, these are not family members that are bound to me. These are, come on. And yet there's a part of me that I have to cycle through and use this energy of dealing with these people. And that's a horrible way of putting it, but I mean, that's part of it, is that it's entirely what I'm doing to myself as a person with avoidant personality disorder, is putting this burden on myself and putting this burden on them that is not there. But I'm trying to, prepare for what's inevitably probably not going to happen. I mean, if it hasn't happened for 40 plus years, seriously, like 45 years or something. Well, how close is it to 50? It's closer to 50 than 40 years. And yet, but that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Is this inevitability, this grinding that you're doing to yourself. Okay, yes, you're doing it to yourself. That's okay. Okay, first of all, one, label it. This is exhaustion. This is not anhedonia specifically. This is not depression specifically. It is exhaustion. Two, it is not something that you have a responsibility for changing. It's not something that you have a responsibility for correcting for. It's not, it is a problem to you, but it's not your problem. Okay? 3, the way to cope with any type of exhaustion is rest. And so, 1, you have to rest. 2, you have to give yourself permission to rest, which sounds like what? Because there's going to be a part of you that knows how to do the grind, that has had people on your back about, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do the other and and what you do is guess what? No, when you're resting, the point is to not do everything. The point is to rest. Um, the other thing is um, to find a way to distract yourself from thinking all the time about how much of a drain it is to do because it is sort of it. Okay, I hate the terminology self-fulfilling prophecy because I feel like that is what people throw on somebody with avoidant personality disorder all the time. It's like, well, you think this way, therefore this is, you know what? It doesn't really matter, does it? Who cares? Who cares if what I think, how much that's affecting whatever, you know what? Everything in the universe is what people think. We think this way and that way about the other. Guess what? I didn't make this up. I was not the one who decided to see the world through this avoidant, you know, frame of reference. I didn't treat myself in the way that created the avoidant personality disorder. It didn't come from me. I didn't make it up. It's not, you know, one of the things when you make lots of videos, people say all the time is that people's opinions of you is none of your business. It is the craziest thing in the world, but it's, that's how they get by with all the criticism. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. Um, if you are exhausted from living your life because everything is so difficult and such a burden, you didn't make it a burden and didn't make it so difficult. You didn't make these choices that this is how you're reacting in this world. You didn't do it. You know, this world exists and you have to be in it, one, and two, somebody did something to you in order for you to have avoidant personality disorder. This is not a spontaneous thing. You're not born with it. You might be born with a predisposition, but you have to have a trigger. Somebody needed to have mistreated you. So this is not something you've chosen. And if getting through life exhausts you way more than it does anybody else, that kind of makes sense, okay? And it's not your fault. Um, so that's what I hope you hear, that this is not unique. It's not even unique to people with avoidant personality disorder. I mean, it's pretty common, unfortunately, nowadays. That you're not really suicidal, but God, you're so tired of doing the stuff you need to do to stay alive. And when do you get to do what you want to do? You know what? Truthfully, you can do what you want to do, as long as it's within reason. Because look at me. Actually, I have um, planned, booked, and paid for my trip to my seventh continent. And I don't make a lot of money. um, yeah, my job is not much above minimum wage in my state, which is much higher than minimum wage in the rest of the country. But seriously, I don't make that much money at all. And that's what I spend my money on. I don't spend it on a mortgage. I buy used cars, cash up front, so I don't have to waste money on a car payment. And I do the things that I want to do frequently enough that it's like a dynamite blast in the middle of the suckage of what life could be if I didn't do the things I wanted to do. And again, when you have avoidant personality disorder, it's very important for you to not pay attention to what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to have a mortgage that sucks my life down the drain. I'm supposed to. That is the American way, right? That is what everybody's supposed to want to do. You know, you're supposed, if it doesn't matter if you don't have the money for it, you're supposed to want it. And I don't. When it comes, I'm not interested in it. I don't want to do housekeeping and groundskeeping and decorating and, you know, doing renovations and restoring. Ew. No. I'd rather have blank walls and, go see museums somewhere else and have those memories. That's just, I mean, I know that some people really want to have a house. You know what? Then you put everything into getting a house and have your house. Fill it full of whatever you want to fill it full of. But do what you want, not what you're supposed to do, not what you were told to do, not what people are judging you because you're not doing this, that, or the other the right way. Do what you want to do. And if you can't do anything because you're so drained, that is okay. Rest, 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 rest. Rest until you can see what it is that you could or want to do to make things less draining and exhausting and less of a grind. Eventually, you will, when you've gotten rid of all this shoulds, chuck them out of your life. And then eventually you'll be able to see what you can do to make your life less of a grind. But to get there, first you have to build up a little bit of energy. You have to be able to let yourself rest. Because if it's not depression and it's not just anhedonia, if it's just everything, it's so draining and it's so exhausting to do the next thing and the next thing, and you have to, but it takes every bit of energy you've got, but you get it done, there's nothing left over. That is exhaustion. And what you need to do is rest. And you need to you need to label it. This is what you need. You need to give yourself permission to rest. You need to do it in the tiniest little increments. If what you need to do is to stop whatever. I mean, seriously, this is the time of year that I go, I think I'm going to invest in some paper plates and plastic disposable silverware for a little while, because then I won't have to deal with doing dishes for a little while. And that will give me an extra 5 to 10 minutes a day. And at this point, 5 to 10 minutes a day, that's something. And I mean, that is the level we're talking about, to find just a little bit of time and a little bit of time and a little bit of time so that you can get some rest and build up the energy, and then you can make a change. But until you've gotten the rest, the exhaustion is just going to suck you down. And hopefully, well, I don't hope. If this is resonating, I hope it helps to know that you're not the only one, that this is not a unique situation. I actually hope that you go, oh, geez, I remember a time like that. Not anymore. That would be great if that's what you can relate to. Anyway, I have seriously rambled on, made this huge long video, and unfortunately, I don't really think I could be more succinct, because I don't have a situation where I can describe and say, okay, it's this part of the DSM, because it's not in the DSM. Exhaustion is not in the DSM, but it should be. Anyway, I'll see you next week.